for our match number 1 again, Paper Rex versus ONIC.
Yeah, and now jumping through into the picks and bans, Umbreon, huge capability in terms of that tanking prowess and also having the capability of hindering their opponents. So really strong bans coming forward, coming from ONIC Rise. PRX answers back as well with huge damage dealers removed for the side of ONIC.
Yeah, and right now Confe is banned, so definitely we won't be seeing a lot of speedster supporter combos here. So I'm guessing that there won't be any Zoroark for today, at least, coming in from game number 1 of the first series. So Rhydon taken away as well. So a powerful backline would be taken away into the story. But Zacian for the last ban of Paper X. What do you think, Infinity?
It's very interesting the Zacian has been removed. I think it's still really strong if you think about it, but there are a lot of hyper priority picks. Armorage, Cerulean still up and open for both these teams. Leafeon is still an option. So these Pokemon could see the light of day. But for ONIC Rise, Psyduck now locked in.
I love this Mewtwo Y as well. You know, it has been one of the most consistent attackers that we could get in the game, especially with the moment that you Mega Evolve. Definitely could snowball a lot of damage coming in from the opposing side, and that will be very difficult because Psyduck, knowing that it has Disable on its hands, definitely could, you know, on like 25 seconds as far as I know. So it's actually a huge thing coming in from a side up, knowing that you can actually shot down a little bit of a second in order for your team to bounce back or have a momentum in order to reposition themselves.
Yeah, and now you have Serena and also Urshifu locked in for ONIC Rise. We talked about and we touched on Urshifu's power coming down into the game itself. Really strong and impactful Pokemon that could shift the tides in terms of ONIC Rise's favor if ever a good position is found. But now Paper Rex answers with those damage dealers as well, locked in onto the Dodrio along with the Snorlax.
Oh yeah, this is interesting. Dodrio, in order for them to score the match at a much more faster pace as far as I know. So definitely that's the benefit that they could give, aside from the ambushes that it would really provide a lot of space. But this is quite interesting, knowing that there was an adjustment that happened into Crustle in which the cooldown reduction was lengthened into the Rock Tomb. So this is quite interesting, knowing that there is a minor setback from this Pokemon. I really wonder how these trainers, Eluna to be specific, on how he would utilize Crustle right now. But for Espeon coming in the side of AXU, I was expecting a bit more range, just like a Solar Beam with a Venusaur, which is one of his favorite Pokemons as far as I know. So let's see. Psychic Solaire is a great, very great tool in order for you to give a little bit of control on your team fights.
Yeah, for sure. And I think at this point, PRX has to slowly pull through in terms of reaching that power spike. They have the likes of their composition coming to game number 1, especially Gyarados, takes a bit of time to be able to reach that point of power, and I think that is what we can expect here for PRX. If there's anyone that can delay that early game into putting his position and putting their position into an advantage, it will be Paper X, currently setting at top 1. But ONIC Rise, expectedly, they could look into a dependency into Urshifu as well to make those huge impact plays.
Oh yeah, see, because ONIC Rise, they have a lot of potential, especially onto the early game, coming in from the Espeon. Definitely could dish a lot of damage, but it's quite the opposite as well here, coming to the side of Paper X. They are more reliant onto the late game with that Gyarados on their hand that they have to babysit for at least 2 minutes in this game. So that will be the biggest challenge here, and ONIC Rise would have to take advantage of that handicap. Game number 1 is on its way here, ONIC Rise and Paper X.
So it's all about that pressure. It will be the name of the game here. ONIC Rise slowly pulling through, and this is what we're talking about. Those early stages could be a good advantage coming down into ONIC Rise. And for now, Paper Rex, they still have to buy time here with only Magikarp alongside with their support, Blissey, or well, Chansey, on the top lane. So it's all about just patience game here for PRX.
Yeah, and you gotta love a while ago the quick ambush from HD in order for, you know, Paper Rex to have their footing once again all the way into the top path, because ONIC Rex was trying to go over aggressive in order for them to take the knockouts that they would be needing actually in order for Yemo to have a little bit of a time to evolve into a Gyarados, at least for this game.
Yeah, and now you have ONIC Rise already with Urshifu. So really strong power. They want to deny the Altarius and the Swab Blues on top lane, and PRX can't do nothing. They only have Dodrio along with the Magikarp, so ONIC Rise dominate.
Zoe has to back away a little bit here, actually. 4 members from ONIC Rise all the way into the top path, and ASU is having a lot of pressure here all the way into the bottom side of the map. So actually, it's a matter of trading and priorities all the way from the Zuablus and the Altaria. So that's actually a great trade from Paper Rex, knowing that they have the upper hand in terms of firepower already, knowing that they have the Dodrio on their pocket.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about those back and forths, right? It's always finding equal trades from your opponents, finding equal values each and every single time, and that is what PRX wants. Now Gyarados is already up, so now they can find plays.
Oh yeah, they can actually dominate this top path already, and 4 members from Paper Rex are trying to advance even further. Try attack would be there, but has to back away a little bit here. And look at that, drop kick, triple axle as well, being popped up by Cell. And Boji having a hard time on his life to pack away here, but that rest would connect. Same thing with the bounce coming in from Yimu, as that is going to be a knockout coming in from their team. But Solo is a little bit of a trouble here, and that is going to be a trade once again for ONIC Rise.
Yeah, and ONIC Rise right now, even trades so far for PRX. But in terms of those levels, so far, ONIC Rise is finding a little bit of an edge there up against Paper Rex. And so far, Paper Rex has to still find something, because right now, ONIC Rise is on a good foot. Now, those Rock Tombs can deny those backaways and retreats, and Snorlax will go down.
Oh, that's a good triple axle coming in from Cell, making sure to take the knockouts that their team needs. And Iluna is just using the X scissors in order to delay things out all the way to the top path and make sure the attack weight is tacking at the hands of Cell.
Mewtwo. Oh, Mewtwo Y just so close there onto having that KO onto Crustle, but so far objectives will be the priority.
Priority right now, and they will bounce all the way from the Regieleki. Heavy slam, it's gonna connect at the side of Iluna, and look at this, tall grass being utilized by Cell, but who will they take down first? They will be taking down the Regieleki.
Yeah, and Paper Rex has just left Regieleki to put that pressure in onto Cell to go for that defense. As for now, they know that Paper Rex, or well, rather, Paper Rex knows that ONIC Rise could definitely have an edge in terms of those team fights, especially in the early mid-game. 5 minutes will be the mark wherein Paper Rex wants to contest this. Now, Altarius and Swablues goes up in mid-pat.
You gotta be very careful on that one. Yimu can bounce anytime he does want, so definitely Paper Rex would enjoy those birds on their favor. A lot of AO's energy being converted, but look at that, try attack, trying to connect here at the Urshifu, so definitely ONIC Rise still has to secure the prioritization, and they will be taking both of the Swablues here.
Yeah. And so far, Paper Rex, ONIC Rise, really having that huge advantage in terms of early game. This is one of the expectations that we have for ONIC, that they will gain a bit of an edge in terms of that point accumulation and having around 56 points leads up against Paper Rex. But as we all know, once Rayquaza comes up, this will change. This will be a huge coin flip for both sides. So that is something that we have to really look upon, how ONIC Rise will be playing all throughout these early mid games on how they can gain a bit of a further edge up against PRX.
Oh, this is looking good for ONIC Rise as well, knowing that it's a 3-2 setup here. That Urshifu can actually take down the objective all the way into the bottom path, and this Crustle will just, use the Rock Tombs, X Scissors in order for everyone else to fall back. But it is going to be a different story here. ONIC Rise would prioritize the Regieleki and a quick execution here into the Regice.
Yeah, now ONIC Rise wants to answer back as well on top lane, having those dunks onto the tier 1 goal zone and actually removing it away from Paper Rex. So that will be the first goal zone removed by ONIC Rise as they shift towards bottom path.
Okay, ONIC Rise will back away instead of taking down the Regieleki all the way into the top path. Quite interesting that they didn't take it, but Iluna is left alone here. But never mind, there are 2 members left coming in from ONIC Rise. That block is gonna be blocking the way from ONIC Rise, and Paper Rex trying to find a position for their own good.
Oh, Crustle very low already as you have HD just walking on the side lanes, going into the backside.
Oh, Psychic Solaire in order to crowd control. The Sai is gonna be popped up as well. But look at who's controlling the team fight. Every single member of ONIC Rise is having a hard time here. those moves won't connect that much, but the Dragon Current is going to be the savior for Paper Rex. And at the back, it's going to be Cell coming in from the trades, but this is too tanky for the Snorlax. Yimu is left alone. He's going to bounce back immediately, and the assistance from Yang is way too good with a soft boiled in order to regain a lot of HP, and they are just having a tough time to take down Yimu here.
Yeah, Mewtwo Y as well, having a lot of damage pouring out, but you have AXQ bringing him down. Just one shot, putting him back into the base.
ONIC Rise really has to set their prioritization. That Blizzy all the way into the backline is a huge threat in order to prolong the team fight, but HD has to back away a little bit here if they want to secure the Regieleki. High jump kick in order to back away, but that drop kick won't be reaching it.
Look at Snorlax and also Chansey into the bottom path, or well, rather Blissey now, as they put a lot of pressure up against AXQ. But so far, the good defense, along with Zoe as well, just hovering around the mid path to be able to respond to any threats coming down into the top lane and the bottom lane. So far, Paper Rex having to dissuade the pressure from the top path as you have the Regieleki pushing them down. Regice now spawns in the bottom lane.
This is going to be the big challenge for Paper Rex. They have to defend as well as to contest the Regice, but Illuna will be the main front line here in order to deny the push, and that is going to be another objective coming at the side of ONIC Rise, but they do have to reposition themselves as quick as they can. 20 seconds on the clock. It's going to be the final stretch.
Now, huge lead already for ONIC Rise. They also have the Regice buff coming down into the biggest objective of this game so far. We've mentioned this already. In terms of the final countdown, Rayquaza will have a huge amount of pressure that can change the tide of the game here. And even then, ONIC Rise only with around 30+ point lead up against Paper Rex is not definitely a safe keep for them to be able to sit pretty in this game one.
Dragon's Current is available here. It could be the savior of the game eventually later on, but Pochi is just the main front line here. Heavy Slam way too early, but Illuna is pinched all the way to the corner of the Rayquaza's pit. They have to reassess their positioning. No one is ready for the flank at the side of ONIC Rise.
PRX now slowly pulling through. You have Cell jumping in as well. Pochi isolated. This will be dangerous for them.
Oh, very dangerous indeed, but Heavy Slam would back away once again, and that is going to be the Unite move, but Illuna is pinched once again by 4 members of Paper Rex. But what could be the possible case for Paper Rex in order for them to bounce back? It is just tag play here. Cell will go in, and he overextended, but Queen's Ascendance to save his life with a Psychic Solaire, and the Project Sai is going to be there to deal some damage as well, but ONIC Rise is still looking for a room in order to back away and still be up into this team fight.
Look at Gyarados going in for the side lanes, going for the 100 points, and that will put Paper Rex in a huge lead. And now Soul may have been in danger, and yes, he might go down, but it doesn't matter as PRX is now on the lead.
And that Crustle all the way into the bottom path will trade the tides once again. Dodrio all the way to the defense, all the way to the top path, but that buff from the Rayquaza would be denied by the Urshifu. And ONIC Rise, ladies and gentlemen, with a little bit of sweat, they take game number 1.
What a fantastic play coming in from ONIC Rise. They know that they are in a number seed. They know that Mewtwo Y is isolated. They know that Gyarados is no longer found, coming in down into the Rayquaza pit, and they bit that opportunity to take the Rayquaza and win game 1.
Yeah, and see, this is one of the most high-risk, high-reward whenever there's someone who's going to be sneaking into the opposing goal zone in order to put the pressure when having those points coming in. And that is the pressure that happened alongside with ONIC Rise. But what did they do? They just focus on the objective, on the Rayquaza, and they know they have a lot of Eos energies on their hand and just slam it all the way into the goal zones the moment that they get the last hit.
Yeah, wonderful play coming from ONIC Rise. Just a play onto the book of Paper Rex as well. You know what? You can dunk a couple of points. You can dunk 100 points, gain a little bit of that lead, but that is just false hope. ONIC Rise just bit through that for game number 1. As you can see, the graph is just too close. It was almost how Paper Rex was at the precipice of actually winning game number 1, but no, can do. Objective taken, and ONIC Rise took the win.
Yeah, and this is going to be a lot of pressure for Paper Rex. ONIC is driving the bus once again. They are running on their long day. And actually, for those who are curious for game number 2, it's going to be Talon up against BRU. So one of the top teams as well in the league, especially BRU, standing on top with Paper Rex. But never mind, let's sit that back later on. And we're going to be, of course, into game number 2. Paper Rex at the purple side and Tony ONIC at the orange one.
Yeah, and I reckon it's really, really important for these teams to actually have that priority in terms of the purple side selection. We all know how these side selections work, and so far PRX, or well, rather the purple side selection, has that priority and has, in terms of statistics, a better chance of taking the win, just because you have that priority in terms of the first few picks up against your opponents onto the orange side. So now the bans are pretty much similar, except for Serena as a respect ban from PRX.
We might be seeing here an Umbreon, knowing that there are actually 2 supporters banned away immediately. So Umbreon could act as a supporter, as a defender as well, with depending on its moveset. So definitely that Wish would be able to sustain the teammates as well with a mean look. So that's an option. But never mind, there's Blizzy as well available. And if they do something much more similar than Blizzy, they could actually go for a Clefable and Eldegoss as well.
Yeah, and I reckon for ONIC, guys, I think Eldegoss would be a much better option for them if ever they really want to go for an all-in type composition, right? Because they already have Garchomp, they already have Urshifu, so having that Eldegoss is really just stating an all-in for ONIC, right? So that is one of the expectations that we have here for ONIC. For Paper Rex, you've mentioned this already, so much sustain. You have the Blissey, and then you also have the Trevenant that can self-sustain at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I saw what I am seeing right now. I just saw it. You know, it's going to be an Umbreon here, and definitely that will land onto the defender and supporter role, actually, because they do have the XP share. So that's not going to be the Foul Play and the Snarl composition coming in from this one. So I'm loving the lineup so far of ONIC. So they just need a speedster or a little bit of a range, an attacker to be specific. Could be someone like a Decidueye if they want to, or a Mewtwo actually. Yeah, very available here. So I love the lineup here for ONIC.
Yeah, I really do. And I think, you know what, instead of the Eldegoss, they could also go in for the double defender. You called it a while ago. I think this still worked. And I think the reason for it is because their composition is an all-in type of composition. And having an Umbreon as well and having Crustle allows you for a lot of capability for utility. You have the Rock Tomb, and whether Umbreon goes for the pathway of the Snarl or the Wish or the Foul Play or the Mean Look, it doesn't matter, because he's capable enough into rushing and playing for that front to back, wherein it's ONIC Rise have set their composition as it is. For Paper Rex, this is a lot more standard, right? You have the Miraidon either for a long range distance play or that short distance, going for the all-in alongside with the Trevenant, Lapras, and the other Pokemon that they have in terms of their composition as well. So really, really strong overall, both sides here for Paper Rex and ONIC Rise.
But yeah, here's the thing. What do you think would be the main maximization here for a little Lapras pick? Since it's very traditional that if they do have a supporter and a defender already, aside from the Lapras, definitely this Lapras would be a perish song. So definitely they would want that last hits in order for them to get KOs. But do you think that's actually a good response, knowing that they have a Miraidon, a powerful backline damage actually from their team, but they really do lack someone like a speedster or some sort of that? But you think this Lapras is a good replacement for it?
Well, Lapras, I think so far for the recent times, so we have seen it for the first 3 days of the ACL, is that it's consistently pair song. And I think there are 2 ways that you can look at it, especially considering if you're battling up against Ho-Oh. I think this is one of the bigger aspects of why Lapras has been picked so far, because if Ho-Oh goes in for the Ignite move, their HP is a little bit lower than expected, so those Perish Song could be having like huge amounts of values. And so far in terms of Paper Rex, they have Miraidon, they have Dodrio in terms of those damage, so it's still going to be enough down the road if it ever comes down to it, wherein Lapras is just there to go for those executes.
Oh, I love that. Actually, we'll get to see the execution here from Paper Rex. They want that W here to force game number 3, and definitely this would be a top obstacle, knowing that ONIC Rise has, you know, double defenders. They have a mean look as well coming in from Zoe. So that is the toughest challenge right here. But we haven't been seeing that mean look landed actually against Yimu. So I'm not quite sure what happened a while ago. But, we'll get to see that one later on. Maybe it's just a tag battle here for both sides. Getting the prioritization from the Swablues. Actually, they got it already. It's already 8:30 of the game. So, it's really quiet, surprisingly.
Yeah, and now Miraidon actually, I believe, went for the Electro Drift instead of the Charge Beam. So Paper Rex is pretty much going in for a similar type of composition, a front to back, going for that all-in type of playstyle, with the ONIC Rise having a similar type of composition as well.
Yeah, they would be needing that actually, because if this Garchomp would just hunt the Rhydon later on, might as well use your mobility with the Electro Drift and just go in, take down the back lines, or this Mewtwo Y to be specific at the side of ONIC Rise. But HD is here, ready to charge in with a try attack. Gonna be missing a couple of shots though.
Yeah, it's just Paper Rex and just HT putting up his presence down into the bottom lane and just shoving ONIC Rise back to their own goal zone. But now the switcheroo, now going down into the top lane as well, supporting that Lapras. They know that ONIC Rise has a couple of players down onto the top side, so they want to put that pressure in. And so far, PRX and ONIC Rise have very minute point accumulation so far.
Yeah, they haven't been stacking up their attack weights and, their SP attacks as well. Dragon Claw not going to be landing against Yang. That's actually a good safeguard of their lives, preventing for them to be knocked out in this situation, knowing that this is very critical. 8 seconds on the clock is going to be the objectives. Oh, that wood hammer landed a while ago all the way to the top path, and Luna was knocked out immediately. And Cell, the only option is to back away, knowing that there are 4 members, but the response from ONIC Rise, the ambush, is still ready here.
Yeah, and the thing is, Paper Rex has full control over the game so far in this early matchup. If you see how Dodrio consistently just goes down into the bottom lane, goes into the top lane, and forcing ONIC Rise to put up that response instead of just playing for themselves, playing for their strat. It is Paper Rex who has full control, and now they have the Regieleki on top of that.
Yeah, of course, and that's not gonna land as soon as they can. But look at this pressure. Solo gonna be pinched all the way into the back line. That's the disadvantage when you have that Electro Drift ongoing. But that Horlicks plus Wood Hammer would land here for Paper Rex, and they managed to take a 2 knockout coming in the side of Paper Rex, and they want to push this Regieleki in order for them. But look at that, X Scissors would land still a tough time here for ONIC Rise defending things down, but Iluna would perish immediately with the song.
Really amazing stuff coming from PRX. They're really pushing it. They have to commit towards that first tier goal zone on top side. But now, ONIC Rise answers back.
Oh, what a good answer back with the Unite move, Moonlight Parens. But look at who's getting the knockout. It's going to be the Garchomp with the Livid Outrage. And right now, they're trying to take down more members here for ONIC Rise, sending them back into the base. Solo left alone. Dragon Claw not going to be landing immediately. And Zoe having a tough time here. But Cell would be scoring instead. Same thing with the Luna.
Now, ONIC Rise has been able to dunk a couple of points. Paper Rex, ONIC Rise, very, very terms of that pointing accumulation so far, and now you'll also have 9 points left into the bottom goal zone. So really, ONIC Rise is still in the game here. They have a couple of points stored up, especially for Garchomp and Umbreon, as they slowly move towards the bottom pad, and this might be a possible engage for them down the road, especially considering that the Reggies are coming up in a couple of seconds time.
Yeah, 10 seconds on the clock, actually, and this could be an opportunity for ONIC Rise to take down this goal zone all the way to the bottom path. Bochi has to back away here, and that's going to be an overcap once again into the bottom side. But look at who's marching all the way into the top path. It's going to be ONIC Rise, and Paper Rex needs to finish this as quick as they can.
And the reason for this, ONIC Rise saw each and individual players down, dunking in tier 2 goal zone. Miraidon isolated though, in danger.
Oh, very dangerous indeed, but the meteor strikes would land here from the Miraidon, but Browser will be there as well, coming in from Illuna. Not gonna be enough though, but on the back line, it's gonna be the Urshifu, but the Phantom Forest will be there for the knockoffs, but the Moonlight Trance, once again, in order to lengthen the HP, and Boshi is just on the front line, trying to tank everything else, but the Livid Outrage is still available, by the way, from ONIC. That's gonna deal a lot of damage, knocks out the Trevenant indeed, and Yemu is just using the Ice Beam and the Parish Song to create a distance for their team. But HD is not yet done here. They're trying to go for knockouts, but they just force ONIC to back away into the Regieleki.
Now Regieleki would be open as ONIC Rise let it through. Paper Rex will take it down for the objective with no contest. As ONIC Rise will switch it up, going down into the bottom pad, instead going for the Reggie buff instead. But this will be a bit dangerous as PRX having to put down pressure on top back. They may be able to fight a couple of engages in team battles that they could start up. However, ONIC Rise playing a bit safe here. You have Urshifu, however, a bit isolated and overextended, but a little bit too tanky to be able to burst down that quickly, as PRX will not be able to find another value on top of Regieleki.
Yeah, of course, because they really have to be careful, knowing that ONIC Rise has an additional attack, an SP attack, the moment that they took the objective all the way into the bottom path. So it's just a matter of burning down the buff, and as well as, you know, getting the reposition that they need, because it will be really dangerous if they try to force that Regieleki all the way to the top path. So they just send it as a bait for their team and make sure to bounce back on the next rotation. But 30 seconds on the clock, it will be the final stretch, and they really have to charge up those Unite moves that they have, especially the Bliss Assistance and the Triple Trample, if Paper X really wants to take their shot to defend this final stretch.
There we go. Unite moves are ready already. ONIC Rise, every single one of those players are ready to go and come through. AXQ jumping through.
Oh, that's going to be a big jump here. Look at that. Bochi pitch all the way to the middle, with the Phantom Forest will be there as well. But the Meteor's not going to be landing quite. And that Miraidon was taken down in the action. Same thing with the Dodrio. That Bliss Assistance would land at the hands of Bochi, and he's just tanking every single damage being deployed. And ONIC Rise has a very beautiful shot in order to take this Rayquaza Woodhammer once again. But the Dragon Claw, this is a little bit too dangerous. But ONIC Rise still gets the last hit. Triple Trample in order to back away and defend things down. But this is Zoe marching it all the way into the goal zone. Look at this damage. It's going to be enough to take down the buff. But on the top side, it's going to be Eeyore taking it down. Same thing with their Mewtwo, and ONIC Rise just needs a lot of defense here.
Yeah, and ONIC Rise, 1 minute remaining for them to be able to close, or well, rather, put a huge and further distance in terms of the point accumulation that they were able to secure. But so far, ONIC Rise in a massive lead, 114 points leads up against Paper Rex is already a good footing for them. It's all about playing those defense, as every single one of them has focused on the bottom tier 2 goal zone, or well, rather, tier 1 goal zone. Bocce in danger already.
Still looking for an opportunity here. Paper Rex not gonna be beaten yet, just yet. Eeyore would be there to charge in immediately. They're looking for the knockout as quick as they can. 35 seconds on the clock, but that Dragon Claw is gonna knock out a member from Paper Rex. That Miraidon is too squishy. Yemu is gonna be pinched down all the way into the pit of the Reggies. But look at this, they're gonna be blowing a lot of damage, and Yemu cannot do anything. And it is just a tag game from Zoe and HD all the way into the top side.
Yeah, now HD in danger, still standing. However, ONIC Rise, they are just going ham into the bottom lane. They're setting a good amount of points to secure game number 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, 9 casters were proven wrong once again. It continues, the curse continues here, ladies and gents. ONIC Rise being able to take out the current titan of this tournament, as they would be on equal footing with Paper Rex, taking 3 points to be specific. So they have a total of 12 points right now. And in terms of standings, yeah, they're on the same footing. But in terms of pointing system, I do believe that Paper Rex still has the advantage, having a total of 30 points. So that's still a huge factor. But ONIC Rise, being able to turn the tables down not just once, but twice here, controlling the game as smooth as they can.
Yeah, it absolutely is fantastic. If you're gonna lug Ultra out, it's now Paper Rex who has a bit of control over the early mid game. But when the last minute came through, ONIC Rise, last 2 minutes, got into Rayquaza, and that is where it started to ramp up. Wherein they're able to come back,